Good. Okay, so now this, oh wait, I was also going to change this B. So again, this one doesn't come up here. I have to go to the glyphs panel and then I can scroll to this. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do for like characters. Now, when I look at this as a designer, as someone who really appreciates type and type design, I'm looking at this and I'm looking at the negative space, right? So the negative space is space between stuff. And when I look, I'm like, whoa, this huge space right here, like this just feels enormous. It doesn't feel proportional to the rest of the spacing between characters and stuff. So I could delete the space out of there. And actually that looks pretty great. But I might want to keep the space because it's nice knowing that there's a space there, because there should be a space there, but it shouldn't be that big. So this is where kerning comes back into play. So to kern this, I'm going to put my cursor in between the two characters. So you might think of kerning as kind of like a little hug. So I'm going to put my cursor in between the two characters that I want to hug up to each other. In this case, the space and the R. So there's a space here and there's an R here. So I'll put my cursor just to the left of that R, and then I'm going to open my character panel, and kerning is right here. And I can drag this to the left and it's going to tuck that in. So the little space and the R are going to hug up to each other now. And the value happens to be -260. And that's great. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So I can either hug between the space and the plus or the E and the space. It doesn't really matter. But then I'm just going to tuck that up too. Okay, so I'm tightening that space to just make it match the rest of the space a little bit better. And I could probably also tuck this W in. You can see that because we have this swooshy T now, it made a lot of space here. But we don't want to tuck it in too much because they are separate words. So I might just move that a little bit. Maybe just like that. Sort of, so I like the idea of this T coming over and sort of dotting the I right here. So I'll just leave it like that. I'm also going to scale this down. So I'm actually going to change the size of the type right here. So I'll come up into my control panel up here and just scrub that down to be more like that. And that just sort of makes this word less significant. It's not really like a main word here. So I just kind of want to de-emphasize it. So I'm going to make it smaller, maybe even a little more small, maybe something like that. I'm also going to raise it up. So to do that, I'm going to do what's called shifting the baseline. I've already changed it to those letters that are, to the version of the letters that are already kind of raised, but it's really not enough. I want to raise it up even more. So I'm going to highlight it. And over here in my characters panel, you see this option here where there's a capital A and then there's like a little a next to it. This is called baseline shift. So if we imagine the base line or the line at the base of these letters, we're just going to shift that line up. So if I scrub right here to the right, it's going to drag those letters up. So the one that we're going to choose here is called rise. So I'm going to click on that. And of course, now it looks nice because it's preset to what I did the other day, which is a bend value of 17%. But when you first click on it, it's like this, like it looks ridiculous. So you're going to have to dial it back a little bit. And I have found that I kind of like this 17%.
Okay, well, I think James asked a question earlier, which I think you just covered, but it was like, how do you know what fonts are worth buying? But I think you explained it. Like, you're really going to examine now what's included, what they have. Now, I'm going to show you guys in a second. I have a page and a link set up so you guys can access everything Khara shared, all her favorite fonts, where you can get free fonts, the best free fonts, those things. So I have that set up. So hold on one second. Okay, so then Rachel asks, how do you install fonts in Photoshop? So we have a link for you Don't
Yep.
have to worry about it, Kara, right now, but I have that link to show people how to install the fonts,
It's
which
really
is good.
easy.
I think, yeah, Chris asked, what do you use to manage your fonts?
I use
And
Font Book right
font
now.
book.